All right, so today we're going to really dive deep into this whole world of dating.
Yeah.
But specifically, like how dating, especially when you're young, can have these long-term impacts
Right.
on you, especially if you're a young woman, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got some pretty interesting research to dig into, and we even have a personal interview
Oh, wow.
that I think is going to, really kind of bring some of this stuff to life.
Yeah.
So,
I'm all excited.
yeah, it's going to be good. So it's
Yeah.
like, we talk about dating, and it seems like this universal thing.
Right.
But when you really look at it, especially for young women,
Yeah.
there are these pressures and these potential consequences that are kind of unique to that experience,
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. You're trying to figure out who you are, what you want in life.
Yeah.
And you're also trying to navigate these ups and downs of romantic relationships all at the same time.
And you're still growing up.
Yeah, exactly.
That your brain isn't even fully developed.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a complex time, and one of the studies we're looking at today, it actually found that women who started dating
Oh, wow.
before the age of 15
Okay.
were more likely to experience things like depression and anxiety in their 20s.
Oh, wow.
Now,
Yeah.
I will say
Yeah.
correlation doesn't always equal causation,
Right.
but it does suggest...
Oh, yeah, there could be other factors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it does suggest that these early dating experiences can have a real lasting impact
Yeah.
on their mental health.
It makes you wonder, like, what is it about those early relationships that might be contributing to that,
That's what we're going to unpack.
Yeah, exactly.
So
We're going to dive into that.
So it's not just about statistics, right?
Right.
We have Sarah's story, too.
Oh, right, Sarah.
Yeah. She started dating when she was 14.
Okay.
And in the interview, she talked about how she was constantly looking for validation from her boyfriend to the point where she started neglecting
Her own interests, her friends, everything.
It's like her whole sense of self-worth.
It was all tied to the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic example of what sociologists call
Oh, here we go.
the looking glass self, right?
Uh-huh.
We develop our sense of self based on how we think other people see us.
Right.
And during adolescence,
Yeah.
romantic partners, they become like this primary source of feedback.
Makes sense.
They really shape how young women see themselves.
Yeah.
And so if those early relationships are filled with insecurity
Right.
or a lack of healthy boundaries,
It can be damaging.
it can really damage their self-esteem.
And I imagine, even later on in life, in adult relationships, that can be hard to shake off,
Oh, absolutely.
It's like those early experiences kind of create a blueprint
Yeah.
for how you approach love and intimacy.
You're exactly right. It's not that those patterns are set in stone,
Right.
but it does take conscious effort
Right.
to unlearn those behaviors and develop healthier patterns in relationships later on.
So we're seeing that early dating can have this huge impact.
Yes.
Statistically, anecdotally.
Sure.
But what about societal expectations?
Ooh, good point.
Like, how much do those play into all of this?
They play a huge role.
Right.
Think about all the messages that young women get from such a young age.
Totally.
Fairy tales, rom-coms, everything.
It's all about finding the one.
There's this constant narrative that finding a romantic partner is the key to happiness.
Right. Like, that's the end goal.
Exactly.
And then you throw social media into the mix.
Oh, yeah.
Where everybody is curating these perfect filtered versions
It's also idealized.
of their relationships.
Exactly.
It's no wonder that a lot of young women feel pressure to find the one
Yeah.
early on.
It sets them up for disappointment because those portrayals rarely reflect,
Real life.
the complexities of real relationships.
It's not all sunshine and roses.
And what's even more concerning is that it can lead to young women putting romantic relationships
Above everything else.
above other important aspects of their lives.
Right.
Education, friendships, personal growth.
It's like they're sacrificing their own development
Yeah.
to fit into this mold that doesn't even really exist.
Exactly. And it's not just about avoiding those negative outcomes either.
Right.
There's so much to be gained from encouraging young women to prioritize their own well-being
Yes.
and view relationships as one part of a fulfilling life,
Not the whole thing.
not the sole defining factor.
So where do we go from here?
Okay, good question.
It feels, I don't know, kind of bleak, like these young women are caught in this whirlwind of
Yeah.
pressures and expectations.
I wouldn't say it's bleak,
Okay.
but it definitely highlights the need for open conversations and support.
Right.
Parents, educators, they can play a crucial role in helping young women develop this healthy understanding
Yeah.
of relationships, teaching them about respect, communication,
Boundaries.
healthy boundaries, yes,
Yeah.
but also encouraging them to explore their own identities and interests outside of romantic relationships.
It's like giving them the tools to navigate
Yeah.
these really complex waters,
Yeah,
right?
obviously.
And make choices that are right for them,
Yeah.
not just what society's telling them to do.
It's about empowering them to make those informed choices.
Right.
And, even though we've talked about a lot of the potential downsides,
Yeah.
it's important to remember that not all early dating experiences are negative.
Right.
Some young women have wonderful, supportive relationships that help them grow.
Yeah.
But even in those cases,
Yeah.
it's crucial to still have those open conversations.
Yeah. Communication is key.
And encourage them to maintain a strong sense of self.
It seems like the main takeaway here is that there's no one-size-fits-all approach
Yeah.
to navigating young love.
For sure.
Every individual is different. Every relationship is different.
Absolutely.
But understanding the potential long-term impacts and having those open and honest conversations can make a huge difference.
I couldn't agree more. It's about empowering those young women to make informed choices and prioritize their well-being.
So think about this. How much of your